The best deck of 2023 has now become the best budget deck of 2024. What a game we're playing. What's good? Welcome to the channel. Today we are kicking off perhaps my favorite video of the year. We are doing a League Battle Deck opening, but not just any League Battle Deck, a Gardevoir League Battle Deck. Whether you're a new player or someone looking to bolster their collection, this is a fantastic product. But before I go any further, I've noticed many of my viewers are not already subscribed to the channel. And I have to ask why. If you enjoy the content, it would be greatly appreciated if you could lend a guy a hand and subscribe to the channel. It allows me to do more videos and it allows me to do giveaways like the one I've got over on Twitter. What's over on Twitter, you might ask? Well, I am giving the upgraded contents of today's League Battle Deck. I am giving away a play set of these ability markers by TCEvolutions. They were kind enough to send us a set just for this video, and a V-Star marker. So we are giving away the set to keep track of all your abilities you'll be using, the upgraded contents to build and play right out of the box, this Marnie playmat you see on screen, and of course a deck box for you to show up to locals with. You will have everything you need after today's video. So if you want to enter that, be sure to check out the link in the description. Go follow the criteria for that and let me know what you think. Now let's keep going. So Gardevoir League Battle Deck. What do I think of this one? Absolutely unreal. I have bought so many Gardevoir over the past year and maybe overpaid, but this is such a good product to rip into. So we've got your deck box, we get your coin, we get your poison, your burn, your dice, and a large die, which you can simulate flipping coins. And then the contents of the deck, but we're gonna jump right into it. Gardevoir EX, embrace the possibilities. Let's stop rambling and start ripping into this thing. So we've got our poison and burn markers. I will send those along with the upgrades. We are gonna break this bad boy open. So the contents of the box. We have the code for one lucky viewer. And of course, our dice. Let's take a look at those dice. We will throw these ones in as well. Ooh, we'll keep those sealed. Those are gorgeous. Love me some dice. Toss that to the side. But we're not here for the accessories. We are here to see the goodies. Right here, we have quite a few standard staples right off the bat. So we have the ever-powerful Mew V EX. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 3 in hand. So it's a nice reload if you have a small hand size. Free retreat, and of course it's psychic, so it works with our deck. For 3 colorless energy, choose one of your opponent's actives and use it as this attack. Very flexible attacker. We love to see that. Lumineon, here for its ability. When you play this from your hand onto your bench, search your deck for a supporter, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that allows for consistency. It's seeing play in many of decks. We have Radiant Greninja. You may discard an energy to use this ability, draw 2 cards. We're not using the attack here, but Radiant Greninja is a staple in many decks, so it's a nice add to the collection. And then of course, they gave us 3 copies of the cover card, Gardevoir EX. So Gardevoir EX, 310 hit point psychic Pokemon, evolves from Kirlia. It does give up 2 prizes. Hits for 190 and recovers from special conditions, but it's here for the ability. This is the deal breaker. This is what made it the powerhouse of 2023. As often as you like, during your turn, you may attach a basic psychic energy from your discard pile to a psychic Pokemon. If you've done this, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon for each psychic energy you attached. You cannot use this ability to knock a Pokemon out. So this is the backbone of the deck. This is the face of it. So we're getting 3 copies off the bat. This right here is really the value alone. But what else do we have working with? So we have Drifloon here. So it is one of our crucial attackers. This Pokemon does 30 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So we put damage counters on it with Psychic Embrace. They give us 3 copies. Very, very nice. We get 1, 2, 3, 4 phenomenal copies of Iono. Iono lets us, each player shuffles their hand and puts it at the bottom of their deck. If either player did this, draw a card for each of your remaining prize cards. So this is one of the strongest supporters in standard right now. We get 3 copies of Professor's Research. Discard your hand, draw 7. Again, we're bolstering our collection. We are getting 2 copies of the now extremely popular Arven. Search your deck for an item card and a Pokemon tool, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this will come up big. These are very, very good cards to have. We have 2 copies of Boss's Orders, so switch your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. So we do like that because we want to pick what we can knock out. And of course, 1 copy of Jirachi So search your deck for 2 evolution Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand. Very good in a deck that likes to play stage 2s. We get 2 copies of Artisan. Once during your turn, the player may search for your deck for a basic Pokemon that does not have a rule box, put it onto the bench. Then that player shuffles their deck. EX and V Pokemon, as well as Radiant Pokemon, have rule boxes, so they cannot search those. That's very, very good. And of course, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Nest Ball. Nest Ball just reads search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench. This allows us to set up and get into the game. Very, very nice there. Ultra Ball, you may discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for any Pokemon, reveal it and put it into your hand. We're getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness gracious, they are spoiling us with this one. This is what we love to see. Usually they give us, what, 2 copies of the cards and then rare candy. So this lets us go turbo, lets us really accelerate. So choose one of your basic Pokemon, think Ralts. If you have a stage 2 Pokemon in your hand that evolves from that Pokemon, put it onto that basic, skipping the stage 1. You can't play this card the first turn or the turn that basic was put into play. And that gives us a little bit of tempo. It allows us to keep up with some of the faster decks. How many did we get? 1, 2, 3. My goodness. The goodies just keep coming. We are in a stage 2 meta, and it is a beautiful thing. We get 1 copy of the super powerful Super Rod. Shuffle into any combination Pokemon and basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. This is a very good card. Kind of wish we got 2, but can't really complain. This deck has a lot of value to it. And of course, we got 3 copies of Bravery Charm. So this will be a very key card in our upgrade. The basic Pokemon this card is attached to gets 50 additional hit points. So that makes our Drifloon a 120 hit point basic, which really plays into its Balloon Blast for more damage. 13 energy. So 13, we will put that to the side for anybody who likes to jump in. Just kind of see what's going on. Don't worry, I got you. I know you screen hoppers exist. And then of course, this is really what has separated Gardevoir from many other stage 2s. The Refinement Kirlia, and they're giving the full play set. So whether you play it with the Psychic Embrace engine or you play it on your own with something else, this is a fantastic set of cards to have. We get 4 Kirlia, but what do they do? You must discard a card from your hand to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. This is an ability on a former World Championship level Pokemon card. This is our draw engine. Our board will be filled with these lovely cards to really get through the game and get to the bottom of our deck and put those energies in the discard pile for our ability. And of course, we've got a couple cards to round out. We have 4 copies of the Memory Skip Ralts. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. During the next turn, this Pokemon can't use that attack. This is very situational. There's a couple Ralts in format that we'll go over and which ones you should or shouldn't be playing, but this is a nice one to have. And of course, Kirlia. So this was very popular pre-rotation. Move 2 damage counters from each of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So you are moving damage counters off your Pokemon, healing them, and flinging it back at your opponent. So this right here is the contents of the deck. This is everything. We'll try to get her all in shot. Out of the box, you should definitely pick it up. There are staples here. There are key support Pokemon. There's an incredible stage 2 that you can build around. If you only had to change 1 card in the list, I would cut Kirlia for Super Rod, and you could take it to locals as is. But let's say you want to upgrade it. That's what you're here for. Don't fret, I'm gonna cut away and we're gonna jump to the upgrades. We are playing 4 copies of the Teleportation Burst Ralt. So the big reason why we upgraded, it has 10 additional hit points. It's from Astral Radiance, it's a cheap card, 10, 15, 20 cents. But it has the interesting attack, which is very relevant to the current state of the game. Switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. There is a current deck or decks that like to utilize strategies of stranding Pokemon in the active that can't really hurt you. So by playing this one, our Ralts never can truly get stranded, which is a strong play in this type of deck. We are playing 4 copies of the Refinement. We did keep every single one. I just happen to have additional arts that I wanted to show off here. But again, very strong ability. We did not cut any of it. We kept them all. And then of course, we are playing all 3 of our Gardevoir EX. These ones here, shout out to Paige. She wanted me to show them off. There's the adorable Gardevoir with the Wooper in the background from Paldean Fates. And then of course we have the fantastic Scarlet and Violet base Gardevoir. So she's really gone all out with this deck and she wanted to show them off. And this deck is very cheap to upgrade. You could go as pretty as you want or as cheap as you want. But again, the Gardevoirs, we're keeping all 3 copies because it makes it easier to find them. Prizing is not an issue. We still do fear prizing from time to time, so I'd rather play 3 and not have to worry about it. We are playing 1 copy of the Drifloon, so we cut 2 to keep 1. We only need 1. We're going to recycle it aplenty. 1 copy of Radiant Greninja, so we did keep it because it discards our Psychic Energy. We are playing 4 new cards that were not in the deck. These are very crucial, and I think they're important. You have to really include them. Manaphy. We play a ton of small Pokemon. This says prevent all damage done to your bench Pokemon from attacks by your opponent. So this protects our bench until they're big enough to survive. Kirlias are also very frail, so we want to make sure they have a little bit of protection. And of course, we're doubling down on that protection. We are playing Jirachi. So prevent all damage counters being placed on your Pokemon from basic Pokemon. So if your opponent uses their own Cresselia out of the box, or if they use Sableye or anything that I might be forgetting, Jirachi protects you from cleaning up the board that are heavily damaged and makes them work through it in other ways. So Jirachi and Manaphy protect our bench. It is very small, it is very delicate. We do need to invest the setup. We are playing 1 copy of the annoying Flutter Mane. This is for us to slow our opponents down. As long as this is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities except Midnight Fluttering. So if they put something in the active that has an ability, we can shut it off. It is a very, very cheap card to get your hands on. And for 3 energy, which we can charge up with Psychic Embrace, you do 90 to the active and put 2 damage counters on your opponent's benched Pokemon. It is also not weak to dark, so that's nice. We play 1 copy of Screamtail. Now this one here really tests your math, and this is the biggest adjustment. So this Pokemon for 2 energy does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So it can cap out at 160 damage. Put 4 energy on it, it's doing 160 damage anywhere on the board, assuming there is not an opposing Manaphy in play. We can manipulate that, we can make it bigger, but Screamtail is our snipe. It is a very, very good Pokemon. We did trim off 4 energy, so let's get those out of the way right now. We are only playing 9 energy. They're not as energy hungry as in previous iterations of the build. So 9 is plenty. 9 is the sweet spot. You'll find a lot of people agreeing with it. 10 feels like overkill. 8 feels like you're getting very, very greedy. We are gonna play 4 copies of Arven, so the deck came with 2. Your best bet is to go shell out the 50 cents and grab a couple more of them. The Arven engine is everywhere. Search your deck for an item and a tool card, reveal them, put them into your hand. Gardevoir really likes its tools. It's probably the most tool-reliant deck in the format. And item cards are always good. They're setup, power spikes, they're very, very good. So Arven just offers a ton of value, which is why we're maxing out copies. We're playing 4 copies of the Iono they gave out of the box. I can't believe they gave us 4 right out of the box. This is, in my opinion, the best supporter in the game right now, no question about it. And then we are playing 2 copies of Boss's Orders. We would still like to pick our Pokemon to knock out. Again, we do have Screamtail, but everything else needs to go through the active, so we would like enough Boss. Now this is where my list deviates, and I'll explain why. So I'm playing 1 copy of Professor Turo's Scenario. So if we're picking up a Gardevoir that has a Kirlia and a Ralts, all of those cards go back, everything else gets discarded. If you have a tool attached, it gets discarded. Energy, discarded. It allows us to pick our EX off the board and deny our opponent a free 2 prizes because Gardevoir is kind of small. Or it allows us to pick a Pokemon that has been stranded in the active, or maybe it's holding on to too many energy and it's not needed anymore, or to clear up our bench space. So Turo really gives us control over the board. And then of course, now this one, you'll get a lot of discourse on this one. I am playing 1 copy of Team Yell's Cheer. So this one might be a little bit overkill, but hear me out. So there is a new card, Eerie, in format that discards 2 item cards from your hand. We are a very heavy item deck, and whether it's our Super Rods or our Ultra Balls or whatever, losing items hurts. So being able to shuffle in any combination of Pokemon and or supporters gives you the flexibility of either or, and put them back into your deck. This is very good. Most people look at it and go, this only gets supporters. No, this is a non-discardable Super Rod. This protects our Pokemon because we will be recycling many of these attackers. So Team Yell Cheer is either supporters or Pokemon, and I really, really like it for both. That's the supporter line. Team Yell's Cheer is not too bad. Turo is, debatable, but again, it cleans up some matchups. And then we're playing 4 of the brand new Buddy Poffin. So this was not in the deck. This might be the most expensive card in the deck, which is kind of hilarious. It's like $1, $2. So you're doing pretty good for budget upgrades. It says search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 hit points or less. Your key targets are Ralts, Drifloon, Jirachi, and Manaphy. We're trying to establish as many Ralts as early as possible because we want as many Kirlia abilities on our second turn of the game. Just lets us draw more cards, lets us set up, lets us thin the deck for later in the game. So Buddy Poffin at a max count really gets us there. We're playing 3 copies of Nest Ball. Search your deck for any basic Pokemon. There's no restrictions here. So this will grab the Screamtails, the Flutter Manes, the Greninjas. It just grabs those 3 Pokemon we don't need, so we don't need it at a higher count. Maybe we need it later in the game, so Nest Balls are always good. We're playing 2 copies of Ultra Ball. So because I'm playing the 3rd copy of Gardevoir, many people argue with me, but Again, I would rather not lose a game due to prizing, have the physical copy in front of me. I play 2 copies of Ultra Ball. It is what it is. If you don't like it, flip flop. We are playing 2 copies of Super Rod. So like the Team Yell's cheer, we are going to be recycling Pokemon. We always want to be able to recycle our Pokemon because we're playing many 1-up. So whether it's the energy, very rarely comes up, or we need a second or a third Drifloon, the Super Rods are great. I've split with both counts here because they're recovery cards. One is non-Eerie discardable, the other 2 are, or Misfortune Sisters, and Eerie is popping up in a lot of popular decks right now. You don't want to get punished off it because you might instant lose. You might only have Drifloon once and you need it 2 or 3 times. Another upgrade we went out of the box for is Countercatcher. So this one is an interesting one. This is what we call a comeback card at Pokemon. You can use this card if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, which one of your opponents benched to the active. It's a boss's orders conditionally though. You have to be losing the game. You have to have more prizes than your opponent. Many times we want a Countercatcher and pair it with an Iono, or it is searchable off Arven. So if we're not quite finished our setup yet, we can Arven, grab the Countercatcher, grab the tool card we want, finish our setup, then go for the big play. We're looking for those up trades. And then here are the few 1-ofs we're playing. We're playing 1 rare candy, so we can explode up and go to the Gardevoir EX, whether it's a late rebenching or whether we need that turn 2 power spike. I found 1 candy was more than enough. 2, it just kind of felt like a card I was discarding with refinement. This deck likes to work a little slower and then play the comeback game. That's why we're playing a lot of comeback cards. We're playing 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. Prizing Pokemon really hurts. If we lose Screamtail early, if we lose Manaphy or Jirachi early and we need it in that matchup, that sucks so much. And this makes learning the deck so much easier because you just look at your prizes and then it makes the rest of your decisions so much easier. If you can squeeze this in, I always do. 1 copy of Earthen Vessel. So we cut down on our raw energy counts because we can search them and we can discard them. So you can use this only if you discarded another card from hand. Search your deck for 2 basic energies, reveal them, put them into your hand. So that grabs 2 out of the deck so we're not having to draw into them. We can discard them with our refinements. We can discard them with our Ultra Balls. You name it, it's fantastic. Or Radiant Greninja can turn it into a draw 2. So it's a very strong item card there. We are playing 1 copy of PAL Pad. So I did go back and forth on my recovery. So we are playing Team Yell's cheer to get our supporters and our Pokemon. We are playing our Super Rod to get our Pokemon and our energy. And we're playing PAL Pad to get our supporters. Never hurts. There are games where you can afford to play the slower way. Many games you want the PAL Pad. I like both. You could definitely cut the L's cheer if you're not liking it, because PAL Pad does get the job done in 9 out of 10 games. But there is that 10th game that you want to account for, or the sneaky tech that catches you off guard. Don't let somebody catch you off guard. We went out of the box again. This is why we cut the rare candies. So Technical Machine Evolution. It is searchable from Arven. It says the Pokemon this card is attached to can use the following attack. Choose up to 2 of your benched Pokemon. They're going to be Ralts. Search your deck for a Pokemon that can evolve from that Pokemon, then put it onto them and evolve. So we go second. We want to go second in this deck. We will try to end our turn with Technical Machine Evolution, a couple Kirlias into play, start digging for cards, evolve the remaining Raltses, and then we can evolve those Kirlias into our Gardevoirs without needing rare candy. So it's a very strong there. It's a thinning, it's a draw, it's consistent, it's a ton of fun too. And then we have 3 more tools, and I will stop rambling. Bravery Charm, 50 extra hit points for the Drifloons and the Screamtails, and the Flutter Manes or the Manaphies. Luxurious Cape. The Pokemon this card is attached to, and if it doesn't have a rule box, gets 100 extra hit points, but if it's knocked out, it gives up an additional prize. It makes this bad boy 190, 190, 170, 170, you name it. It makes things bulkier or it allows things to hit harder. And of course, the new Ace spec. This is not a bad card to pick up either, but will be included in the deck. Hero's Cape. This is a very simple card. The Pokemon this card is attached to gets 100 additional hit points. No tricks, no trades, no extra. 100 extra hit points. What's not to like? Make your Gardevoir 400 hit points, make your Greninjas 230s, make your Screamtails 190s. We just want extra hit points for our little attackers so they can hit harder. This is the deck list. This is what I've been enjoying. This is what we're going to cover in the how to play video. If you enjoyed today's content, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Like I said, this is what I will be giving away. This 60 skeleton I will be giving away. Obviously some different art rarities, but this is the 60. You will be getting 3 Gardevoirs, 4 Kirlias. You'll be getting 1 of everything. You'll be getting a Luxurious Cape. You will actually be getting a Hero's Cape Ace spec. I've got you covered. It's part of the giveaway. Go hit up Twitter. Go enter. Giveaway draw on May 4th. So thanks again. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.